I've had like 8 million views, 4 million views, and it didn't bring inquiries in for me. So little things like that we think work, like different things work for different people. And so just because something worked for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And always create more than you consume. That at the end of the day, I think is one of the biggest things too.
Hey there, and welcome to the Event Crushed podcast. Each week, we'll be chatting about all things wedding industry, entrepreneurship, and how to crush it in life and business. I'm so glad you're here. Now, let's dive into this week's episode. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Event Crushed podcast. I am not Southern in the least bit, but I love saying y'all. It's like one of my favorite words to say. So you might hear me say it from time to time, and I'm truly just an imposter because I was born and raised here in the Pacific Northwest. But thank you for being here today. I have a super fun episode for you. If you are a mom or a dad or a parent who's also running a wedding business, you are going to love this conversation with Jamie and Alex of the Cameras and Carseats podcast. These ladies are just so awesome, and they are making waves in the wedding industry and doing it all while raising little ones. They're both wedding photographers and moms, and they wanted to create a safe space for honest conversations about balancing business, babies, and everything in between while running their wedding photography businesses. So in this episode, we're going to dive into how they started their podcast and their new mastermind for mom photographers, why community matters so much in this industry, which is something you've heard me talk about a lot before, and how they have found ways to thrive in business without sacrificing what matters most at home. Jamie and Alex are real, relatable, and so fun to talk to. I know you're going to love this conversation, so let's jump right in. Well, hey, Alex and Jamie, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to chat with you guys today.
It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited.
We're caffeinated.
I love it. Me too. I got my little iced coffee right here. Well, before we jump into all the goodness, I would love it if you guys could just share a bit about your backgrounds in the wedding industry, what you guys do, and also the origin story of your podcast, Cameras and Carseats.
So my name is Jamie. I am a destination adventure elopement photographer. I specialize in hiking elopements and taking my couples out into nature. I also really enjoy micro weddings with like wineries. But this is my 14th year. So I have been doing weddings for a very long time. I'm still obsessed with them. I get so excited every single time I get an inquiry, a booking. I love this job. I love being in the wedding industry. I love photographing people. It's something that makes me happy, and it also pays my bills. So it's the best of both worlds.
So I am Alex, and I am we're both based in Iowa, the Midwest, and I stay here primarily between Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin is where I shoot a lot of my weddings. And I shot my first two in 2018. So this is my 7th year, I think. I had to math really quick. But yeah, I have 3 daughters and we live in a log cabin. So when I'm not with my couples, I am homesteading, doing all the log cabin-y things. And I specialize in just like candid, chill couples. And yeah.
I guess I forgot to mention how, yes, I do have 2 children. They are the light of my life.
I guess that is relevant to today's episode.
Yeah, because we started a podcast all about motherhood and photography, running your photography business while being moms, cameras and car seats. It's you're lugging your cameras, you're lugging the car seats, you're making it work. And I guess that's just kind of where it started, is we were 2 moms that were tired of feeling left out of the conversation, left out of the equation. A lot of education was geared towards young 20-something childless photographers, and they would tell us something, or a bro would give us a marketing line, and it just
didn't, stick them in daycare.
It didn't relate.
Just put them in daycare.
I think about that someone said that to me so much. I can't.
Yeah, we just wanted to be an open conversation for moms. We just felt like there was such a void there where it was either you had no kids and you could hustle 24/7 and you lived and breathed your business. And then there were the people that wanted to have a successful business, but they also had kids. And we wanted to talk about how you can have both. You can have kids, you can have a successful business, and here are the things that are like realistic and tangible that you can do in your business, and here are some things that you don't have to be doing that. You don't have to keep up with the trends. You don't have to do all that, and it's okay, and it doesn't make you less than. And so we're really passionate about that.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's also something that I am very passionate about, which is one of the reasons I was so excited to talk with you guys. I wanted to ask, like, how did you guys get connected? How did you meet?
I have no idea. I yapped at her, she yapped back, and here we are.
I think, okay, so we were friends. I want to say because we were in mutual
friend groups. But we didn't talk yet.
Yes. And then we took coaching from the same photographer coach. And we really started talking after that, I think. Because we always like been around each other. But then I think we got closer after that. And then it just kind of escalated.
It just snowballed. And then we just never shut up. Here we are.
I love it. Well, so today, I mean, you guys kind of hinted at it, but we're going to be talking about parenthood and running a business in the wedding industry and balancing, in air quotes it all, because I think that's a little bit, well, we'll get into it, but I've never loved the term like, work-life balance because it's more of a juggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to get started, the balance of parenthood and business, it's a common struggle because a lot of wedding business owners are parents too, but there aren't, before your podcast, there weren't many spaces, I feel like, to talk openly about it. Why do you feel like these conversations are so needed? And like, why are they important for the wedding industry?
I mean, if you look at the wedding industry, a lot of it is female. And there's a lot of women in the industry that think, I can't have kids and I can't travel. I can't be an elopement photographer. I can't do that. And then they're like, wait, actually, I can. It just doesn't have to look like the highlight reel of Instagram. It just has to look like my version. And that's what matters. And there's certain things out there that I don't have to do because society said I had to do it that way. I can do it my own way.
And a lot of the times it can be really lonely. Like when you aren't clocking into a 9 to 5 and you are at home and you work for yourself and you set your own rules, you need community. Like we are just hardwired for community and relationships. And it can be really hard when you feel so isolated and you feel alone. And so just having that space to talk like, no, these are struggles we have as a parent and as a business owner, and we can relate to each other because, like either like my business is running really well and my house looks like a tornado went through it, or my house looks really good and I need to start working.
Yeah, you can't have everything. You got to pick and choose, but it's fine. I'd rather have a slightly messy house. No.
Yeah. Well, and they say like, one day our houses will be totally clean because our kids aren't going to be in our houses. And like, that's always made me so sad to think about it, but it puts it into perspective because it's like, okay, I can deal with my house being messy right now because it means that I have like kids, living here that are growing up and living their lives. And yes, it gets messy, but it's totally worth it to have that experience. So
and your business will always be there. Like your kids will grow up, but working and living in seasons of right now, if your kids are younger, yes, you might not be able to work on your business as much. And you might see other people doing all these things and pushing out all these goals and you want to do that. And you can do that. And it's okay to want to do that. But it's also okay to wait to do that until you're in a season where you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you mentioned the clean house thing because we're technically at my parents' house right now. And all of us are grown children. And I'm like, wow, was the house always this clean? No, it is now because none of us live here. And I look at my house and I'm like, as long as all the toys are in one corner of the living room, I'm not overstimulated.
There you go. Did you guys say how old your kiddos are?
So I have 2 boys. I am in the toddler trenches. I have a 4-year-old and a 17-month-old.
So my 3 girls are 8, 7, and 2.
Okay. So fun.
And I joke, toddler trenches, low-key love it. I thrive on chaos and it's fine. And everyone knows that mom runs the ship. And if mom's happy, everyone's happy.
That's right. Okay. What are some common narratives about being a mom or a parent business owner that you'd love to rewrite or challenge through your podcast?
That you can't do both successfully. I definitely think that just because success is what you make it. We all have different goals. We all have different ideas for what we want our business to be. And most of the time we run our own business, not just because we're passionate about what we want to do, but also because it gives us a space to be present in our family life. And so the fact that I think one thing that we don't talk about enough, and it gets taken for granted a little bit, is the fact that the job we have does allow us to be so present. Like throughout the week, if you're a photographer, maybe you work mostly on Saturdays and maybe the occasional engagement session on Sunday or on throughout the week. You have so much time to be with your family. And that's just one thing that is so amazing about what we do. But you can do both and have both successfully, and it might look different for everybody. And I think that's one thing that we really get caught up in, is it has to look a certain way, or we have to do things X, Y, Z, when in reality, it's what we make it. And that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I was only going to add on to that with you have to do it a certain way, or you have to show up at 5 a.m. And yeah, no thanks.
You do not have to wake up before your kids. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's challenging the everyday bro marketing that drove me insane. Because I'm like, this doesn't work for my lifestyle. I don't have the same 24 hours that you do, because my life is just different. I am running a photography business, but I'm also running a household, and I'm keeping track of 4 cats and 2 kids.
Or watching other photographers who have more chances at doing more experiences, right? They can travel more places and they can do more things, and we can still do those things. We just have to prioritize and try to figure out what things we want to do, what matters. And we just kind of have to put a little bit more forethought into it. It's not that it can't happen. It's just, it takes a little bit more planning.
Yeah. We just have to plan differently. And we're just trying to show moms that you can still have this sort of life. You just have to plan and use systems differently.
Absolutely. Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see entrepreneur parents facing today, especially when it comes to balancing business and family life? I know you mentioned earlier, like, your house might be messy. What are some other challenges that you guys see?
I think making sure that you also make time for you. Just because you are home all the time and you are with your kids all the time, it is good to have, because most of the time when we start a photography business, it started out of a hobby or because we were passionate about it. And so we need to make sure that we have something for ourselves outside of that too, and making sure that you're hanging out with people or you're doing other things that you love, and also that you are doing work that inspires you. Sometimes when we do so much work, it just turns into work, which it is, but we also do it because we love it. And so making sure that we take time to be creative and do more of the things that we love and be intentional with that, I think is huge.
I mean, one of the harder things that a lot of people struggle with parent-wise, entrepreneur-wise, is mental health. Like they think, I have to look perfect. I have to act perfect. I have to work like I don't have kids and mom like I don't work. And I think that's one of the hardest things, is a lot of moms will beat themselves up, dads included, but obviously I'm not a dad, so I can't really totally speak on that. They'll beat themselves up that they're not doing enough, or they're not being enough. And I just want to remind them that you're actually doing great. You are doing so much more than you think you are. And like, just listening to a lot of our photographer moms who have contacted us, and I'm just listening to them talk, and I'm like, girl, you are barely 6 months postpartum. You're crushing it. Just pat yourself on the back. You don't see it because you're still in that fog, but you really are doing amazing. So I like, not to quote all the TikTok audios, but you're killing it, sweetie. like you're actually doing amazing. Just don't beat yourself up so much.
Yeah. Well, we're living in such an interesting time where we're seeing everybody else's success like in front of our faces constantly. And it makes it super hard because comparison, like no one is immune from that, I don't think, of seeing other photographers in your market or other planners, who are seemingly like just crushing it. And you're like, well, why did they get that booking and I didn't? And why? And we just start comparing. And especially as a mom, like I remember feeling that way when my kids were young, especially because I would see these other businesses that started like after I did, but they didn't have kids. And it was like, well, they can do it all because they have all this time. And like, if I, had more time, then I could do that. And just that whole comparison game, which is really unhealthy. And I think there's a lot of things we can do to like get out of that. But
well, we never know the full story. People are always going to post the good things and the highlights and what is really shiny. But behind the scenes, we don't know what the day-to-day is. We don't know what is actually running their business or the things that are actually going on. And I think that that's really hard too, is not knowing what the full picture is.
Well, comparison it's just a thief of joy. You're just going to suck your own joy out of motherhood and your business if all you're doing is doom scrolling and comparing. And if you're like, well, they got 10,000 followers overnight and they went viral and they got lucky. Okay, maybe they did. Stop focusing on them.
Well, and that's not always the answer to everything either. People always think, well, if I go viral, this will happen XYZ. It's like Jamie and I have both had things go viral and it doesn't do anything. So it's like, it didn't for us.
The box sets are crushing it.
That
after
is
they
crushing
went viral.
it.
Anyway.
I have had reels that have had like 8 million views, 4 million views, and it didn't bring inquiries in for me. Like, so little things like that we think work, like different things work for different people. And so just because something worked for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And always create more than you consume. That at the end of the day, I think is one of the biggest things too.
Touch grass. That's my thing. I gotta go touch grass, guys. I'm getting overwhelmed.
I love it. Great reminders. Absolutely. Are there any mindset shifts that you guys have experienced that have helped you like stop feeling that mom guilt while working on your business while raising young kiddos?
Boundaries.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think my mindset shifts are, I try not to be the toxic positive mindset shift because sometimes you just need to vent and you need to be in your feels. You need to get it out of your body. But like seeing things from a different perspective and trying to force myself to see it from a different perspective, such as content creation. 100 people only saw this reel. So clearly that sucked. But then I try to think about it like, okay, so this one didn't hit, but still 100 people saw that. If I had 100 people in front of me right now, that's terrifying. So like there's little things like that with, I try to spin things, like I give myself a minute to be in my feels and then I analyze it. I am such a numbers person. I try to figure out why something might have not worked and how I can do it better, but also it's okay to fail. I actually try to fail more than I try to succeed because then I know what doesn't work for me.
Well, it's research. If it doesn't work, then now you can cross that off. It didn't work and we can try something else.
And I think just being comfortable with the failure, being comfortable with being upset, being comfortable with knowing that some things are not going to work out for you. I think that's like one of the hardest things to accept. But once you get to a point where you're like, okay, and you just welcome it, I think it helps.
Yes. For me, with boundaries, I always felt like, okay, I'm not as easily accessible anymore because other people need me. And if I'm not as easily accessible anymore, clients are going to be upset. That's going to be a turnoff. My business isn't going to do as well. Like it was just all these lies where really boundaries have helped me so much in my business. I know Jamie and I talk about boundaries all the time. It's like my favorite thing to talk about, where having boundaries and having guidelines and client expectations not only helps like set you up for success and helps your clients know what to expect from you, but it also gives you a break. I just remember all the times I would be nursing in the middle of the night or trying to work during nap time. And then my youngest would wake up and then all like these schedule shifts. And I always thought, oh, well, if I wake up right now, I'm awake at 2 a.m, I should probably respond to this email that I got at 10 p.m. because otherwise they'll be mad, or I thought they'd be mad. And there is just such a gray area. And once I set boundaries of these are the hours I work, these are the hours I will respond, it helped in the off time to actually be fully present with my family because I was allowing myself to turn work mode off.
Not allowed. Never. No.
Well, we don't have a boss that can tell us at a 9 to 5, like when you go in, these are the times you work, then you can clock out and you're done. Like I know when I worked for someone else, the second I clocked out, I was done. Well, like you could not, I was not thinking about work after I was done working.
You got to channel the babies. What are the babies again? Gen Z? You got to channel them. And that's the mindset you got to channel is it's 5 p.m. laptop slammed. Yep. I love them for that. As a millennial, I love them for their work's over. Bye. And like sometimes you just got to channel that corporate girly. I'm clocking out. Yes, I'm my own boss. My boss can shove it. And you just gotta take time for you. You gotta take time to feel everything and to spend time with your kids. And no, it's never going to be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect work-life balance. You just gotta go with the seasons.
Well, but allowing yourself to stop working too also gives you energy and time to recharge. Because but when work mode is constantly on and you feel like you have 500 tabs open in your brain and on your laptop and wherever else, it's so exhausting. But when you put up those boundaries, you're allowing your brain to kind of take a minute, like, no, I'm going to take today off. It's going to be okay. My business is not going to implode. Yes. Nobody is going to be mad. And it'll be fine. It'll be okay. And we can move forward and things are great.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but like I can be in my office like super focused, getting all the things done. And then like the second I walk out of my office door, like everything goes out of my brain and I'm just like in like mom mode, like just whatever my next priority is. Like I'm not thinking about work anymore. And I think that's really cool. I don't know if it's like compartmentalizing, but it's just what happens. And then I go do what I got to do. And then I come back and it's like, okay, work mode. And I'm not thinking about, I shouldn't say never, because sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm like, I have so much laundry to do. But generally, I'm just focused on what's in front of me, which I think is pretty cool that we have the ability to kind of compartmentalize in that way.
That is a gift. I had to teach myself to try to be that way because I am more like always in business mode and I have to intentionally like put my stuff on do not disturb or like think, okay, nope, this is time to focus on the house. This is not time to try to think about what is going to work on this specific landing page right now.
Well, I was just going to add like I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom, but I cannot work with my children because I can't focus. If I hear my children, like I can squirrel. It's like it's either work or it's kids. And if I try to do both, then I'm doing both poorly.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Jamie, you were saying earlier about like the reframing. And I love that. I do that all the time because it's like the first time I'll look at something, I'll be like, oh, that sucks, or that didn't perform as well as I thought it did. But then, like you said, you give a little time, you're like, oh, actually, yeah, if I had 100 people in a room with me hearing what I'm saying, like that's actually amazing. So I think that's such an important reminder to, if we can just like reframe things, put it into a different perspective, that can be huge.
Well, I think sometimes we think that'll solve the problem too, when in reality, if you also sit back and think, okay, if your goal is to have 10,000 followers, like, oh, if I have 10,000 followers, my life will be changed. And then you woke up one day and you had 10,000 followers, what would you do? What would you say? Like you need to know what you're doing, what you're saying too, before you think that something is going to fix your problems.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit ago, you had mentioned the idea of community, as moms, like and parents needing that community because motherhood can feel super isolating at times, especially for me anyway, like the young years where you are like, you have a baby attached to you at all times and it's just, you are needed constantly. So it can feel just hard. And especially too, when you see others who are like, doing it all effortlessly. So how has community and those honest connections helped you guys through those tough moments?
I think it was really hard for me because I had a COVID baby. Being pregnant in 2020 while navigating all of my weddings being rescheduled to the month of August and then having my baby be born February of 21 and then still not being able to do things or go places, or it cemented more that I wanted to be with my friends. I wanted to be with my clients. I had no idea what I was doing. I was a first-time mom and I just gave up doing whatever I wanted with my business to take care of this tiny little human that is so freaking cute with his little cheeks. But like not having someone to talk to, not being able to go places, I never want to experience that again. Like now that we have our small group of friends, we can podcast, we can Voxer, we can go get coffee, we can go get a beer and just be like, this week was awful. And if I couldn't do that, I would not be who I am as a business owner. I don't even think I would be happy, to be honest, because as a human fundamental, I'm searching connection always. And I need to find that outside of my business and outside of motherhood, but also I need to find that in people that know what I'm going through. Even though I like having conversations with people that are not photographers or not moms, it's nice to have that mom photographer that's like, dude, my kid just spilled water on my laptop.
Yeah, community is so important. I think you just need to find your village, like whoever that is, and make sure that you're staying connected because like we were saying earlier, it's like sometimes you just have to talk it out. Sometimes you just have to vent and that's all you needed. And you just need that human connection. And there are so many different ways to find them. I know like Facebook groups are a great way to connect with local industry people. Social media is a great way to find people too. And it's really important, not just for like you and your business, but your mental health.
I mean, last time we all got together, we usually talk about birth stories. Let's be honest, moms.
That's what moms do.
We connect on birth stories. It's just what we do. I don't know. And like, we didn't even talk about work. Sometimes we talk about work. Other times I am one of those people that I need to get the emotion out of my body. And the moment I talk about it, I'm good. But like, I have to do that. And like, sometimes it's legit just life. It's potty training. It's not even business. It's the weather. But it feels good to just unwind for a second, to unclench my jaw. I feel like everybody just needs that. And I know it can be so hard to make friends, especially making friends as moms, because you're like, am I a crunchy mom, a scrunchy mom? Or
the same.
Like, what are your rules? Are you a barefoot mom? And like all the different things. I feel like in your gut, you'll know who's your people and who's not. It can be hard to make friends, but don't be scared to put yourself out there. Go to those networking events, go to the Facebook group meetups. And I'm not saying you'll make friends instantly. And maybe that's still me problem. I never made friends easily, but I like once it happens, it'll happen.
And it can be so important to make friends in your industry too that are also parents, because they get it. Like I think naturally as adults too, we have kind of our different friend groups. We have like our friends that we just like go get coffee and go thrifting with. Then we have our friends that we talk about parenting with. But if you can find those friends that are parents and they also work in your industry so they get it on a day-to-day level, I think it's just that connection in itself just means so much.
Well, in the way that we can like, hey, I'm really frustrated. This ad campaign didn't work. Okay, let's break it down. And then you're like, oh, I didn't even think about it like that. Thank you. Just those sort of things. Like sometimes it's
imagine
just
these numbers as Cheerios.
Yeah.
And then if Bluey said,
God, I love Bluey.
Me too. Yeah, I appreciated what you said about if it doesn't happen like instantly and that it can take time, especially as adults. I mean, you've mentioned being a millennial. Like I'm an older millennial, and it's really hard to make new mom friends at this age. Not impossible, but like it takes extra effort. And I think it's important because some people will show up to that networking event, and if they didn't make an instant connection with somebody, they're like, oh, it was a failure. Like I'm never going to go back again. But it's so important to remember that like it takes time and consistency to keep showing up and to build those relationships. And it's so worth it, because then that one time when you do click with somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I kept coming because it was so worth it to make this connection.
I mean, we weren't even friends. We ran in the same circle, but we didn't talk to each other a lot until like we just kept showing up. And it's like, oh my gosh, where have you been my whole life? And I mean, you didn't marry your partner the day you met them, did you? There's some TLC shows. But like you just got to keep going. You have to keep trying. If you put that effort into the world, I'm a big believer that it's going to come back to you. Like kindness always comes back around.
Absolutely. Okay. Is there anything else that you feel like that you wish people understood about the reality of being both a parent and a business owner that we haven't already touched on?
There's no perfect way to do it or perfect routine or like implementation of any certain aspect of a routine that's going to make you feel like everything is all together.
I was going to say no. No is a full sentence.
Yeah.
No in parenthood, no in business. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to take time off. You're allowed to unplug.
Live in seasons. What works now might not work next week when your kid is going through some sort of sleep regression. So like, it's a lot of just like taking it as it comes and just being okay with like tomorrow's a new day. We can do something else tomorrow, and making sure that you are like keeping track of what you have accomplished to look back on, even if it's this like smallest, most what feels like minute thing. It all adds up. It's all great, and it'll be fine.
I love doing both. I love business. I love being a mom. And no 2 months are the same. I mean, last month, influenza A took us out. And I have developed certain systems, and I still have to tweak those systems. And I still have to update my workflows. I still have to update my emails. am updating my website constantly. There's never a finish line ever in motherhood or in business. You're just, and I'm not saying like you're constantly moving the finish line, but you'll get somewhere and then take a second to evaluate what you did and then set a new goal.
Yeah. I think that's like the most true thing ever about parenthood is that it keeps you on your toes so much because things are constantly changing because you just get used to like one season. Like you mentioned the sleep progressions, like you finally like your baby's sleeping through the night and you're like, oh, finally, like we made it. And then they go through that sleep progression. You get into a routine and you get used to kind of how it is. And then like 2 months later, they're like, nope, I'm not going to do that anymore. So it really keeps us on our toes, but it does make like, I don't know. I love it because I just think like it's never boring. Like you said, every day is different. Same with like running a business too. Like no day is the same. So I love that about it.
I locked myself in my backyard for the 3rd time last week and at least I had my phone on me. Fun fact, I am 5 foot on a good day. So I can't reach the latch on my gate.
Oh, no.
And at least I had my phone on me because the wind blew the gate shut and I called my sister while my husband is laughing at me on the security camera. So it's like, I always joke, it's never a dull day around here. Not around here, partner.
Oh, I love it. So I feel like this is a perfect segue into my next question. Do you have like a dream mompreneur work day? Like what would your ideal work day look like to you guys?
I feel like we even have 2 different answers to this because I am not a morning person. You will not catch me awake at 6 a.m. And this lady over here is already voxering me at 6 a.m. And I'm not even a person before 9.
My kids get up early. So I definitely don't have a routine of like, I'm going to get up before my kids and I'm going to make sure I set my day before my kids do because the second my feet hit the floor, the kids they know. It's like some weird sense. So I get up when my kids get up, which depends on the days, anywhere from 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. And then my day is having a set like perfect day, I guess is hard because I like variety. Like I like the fact that I can make my own schedule and it varies day to day. I get really bored if I'm like in a routine. I used to work in the emergency room and I thrived on it because it was like every single day was different. You never knew what was going to happen, chaotic. And so my husband is a coffee roaster. And so his schedule is also set to whatever he wants to. So some days is me at home with our youngest, doing stuff around the house, doing light work tasks while he's working, and then we switch. And then the next day he's watching our youngest and I'm able to make myself a coffee and go upstairs and work at my standing desk for a few hours and then come down and eat the lunch that he made and then go back upstairs and work. And I just like the being able to kind of choose what my day looks like.
I'm trying to think of what a perfect work day for me would be like. I don't have to wake up early. It's hard because I like the days that my oldest goes to preschool, but at the same time, I miss him. But like at the same time, when he's at preschool, I can count on certain work getting done. So I'm like, if you catch me in a I'm really tired mood, put my oldest in preschool and put my youngest down for a nap. But if you catch me on the days like that I'm ready to work, I love waking up, taking him to school. Then it's usually right now in the mornings, I have to run to the post office because I have to mail box sets out. So like the youngest is just babbling in his car seat back there. And so it's like, okay, we go run our errands, post office. Ooh, Fairway. I love taking the oldest to to the grocery store because they have the kid carts. So like I like doing the mom chores in the morning. I like getting them down for quiet time and nap time and working from like noon to 3-ish. And then I like turning work off again once nap time's over and just organizing the house and switching back into mom mode, back into house mode. And I hate cooking though. Not for me. I am a takeout girly for life. And it's like, okay, let's play. We're big nerds. So it's like, I would love to play a board game and get the kids to bed. And then right now, just the season of life I'm in, I am more productive at night. So I love working in between like 8 p.m. and 2 a.m., which is why I'm always messaging her at midnight. She's sound asleep. And then I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm a night owl.
I like to be in bed by like 10 or 10:30. The latest.
I think I went to bed at 2:30 last night.
I would simply pass away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in bed at 9.
Yes. Yeah. I do know if I need like, okay, this is a day where I need to sit down, I need to get work done, I have to get out of my house.
Yes,
because I can't, if I like laundry needs done, I can see the dishes. I know that this is going on. And then if my husband and I, when we work at home together, like it's so fun. Like, don't get me wrong. We actually do really well together at home, like working together, but we distract each other because we're like, did you see this thing? Did you hear this thing?
Yeah.
What was that one thing? Like, we just don't stop yapping. And so we're both like, okay, if we want to get work done, like one of us has to actually physically leave. So he told me this morning, he was like, if you want to get work done, like you should leave, like go sit at a coffee shop. So that's what I like to do if I need to get like deep work done, is go sit at a coffee shop.
Body doubling is my favorite. I love working in public. I am more productive sometimes working in public than working at home. Because like you said, I will get so distracted by the state of my house. And then the ADHD takes over and I'm like, I could do this, but if I do this, but then I go over there and
then your duck is quacking and then you're trying to... We have a duck in our house right now and it's really distracting.
In your house?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's just a little one. It's like not old enough to be outside yet.
Oh.
But yeah.
Well, we had a chicken in our house actually recently too, because my dog attacked one of our chickens and like injured it. So my daughter had it in a box in her bedroom. She was like nursing it back to health for a few days. So
that's so sweet.
It's all better now. Okay. Well, I loved hearing about your dream days. It's so interesting because everyone is so different. Like you guys are saying, one of you wants to get up, doesn't necessarily want to get up earlier, but does get up early and goes, you do want to go to bed early. And then the other one like wants to stay up late and work, which like it's whatever works for you. Like that's the beautiful thing about being a mom and a business owner is like we can find a schedule that works for us and do whatever we have to do, which I love that about it. I get up super early and people think I'm crazy, but like it literally just is what works for our family because we homeschool our kids. So like I have designated morning hours that we do that. And so if I want to have a productive day, like I'm in here in my office at like 4:30 in the morning. So just is what it is. But I actually am so accustomed to it and used to it now that like I love it. Like I cannot imagine my life without it. Like I go to bed thinking about, I'm like excited to get up and get my coffee and go work in my office at 4:30 in the morning, which I never thought I would say that. So
well, and I think that's one thing that like some of our Mom Talk students have said. We round each other out. Like, you know how you're like, I always wish there was two of me. And I think we're as close as it gets to having two of both of us because we round each other out in the things that we're not perfect. Like one of us is good at one thing and the other one is good at the other. And it makes it so much fun because I'm like,
if you have questions in the morning, ask me. If you have questions at night, ask Jamie. If you like Dubsado, ask Jamie. If you like Honeybook, ask me.
Oh boy. I knew that was going to get brought up at some point.
That's great. Actually, that does make me want to ask you guys, like, do you have any just like non-negotiable systems or things that you incorporate so that you can run your business successfully?
I think it would be funnier if we answered for each other because we probably know each other. Let's see. Alex does not work on Sundays and Wednesdays. Sundays and Wednesdays are strictly family and church days.
Correct.
Let's see here. Very strict cutoff times about communication of when she will talk to people.
Facts.
What's another one for you? You will not take certain holidays. Like certain holidays for you are family time only. Like you will only work on certain days, or sorry, not holidays. Mondays are your date nights. So you are very intentional about your schedule.
Yes.
Because Mondays are Daniel days, Sundays and Wednesdays are family days.
Correct.
I know you so well.
Yes. And then also having like automations and systems in place. But that's one for both of us.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're pretty similar.
We're pretty strict on our like having automated workflows and things like that. Jamie is a communication all the time person, texting her clients.
I just like to talk.
I do too, but for me it's like I have to have those boundaries or I get burnt out.
I will only text clients after they are booked though.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like the types of people I attract, they don't abuse that either. I mean, I do have a text message from a bride right now, but she's legit asking, I think she was asking, I told her to watch the show The Pit. So we're legit just talking about life. We're not even talking about work. And I like to do that with my clients. I just love to talk to them. I'm in a group chat with my couple for this weekend and we were talking about like random life stuff. And I'm like, we should probably, Talk about your wedding for a split second.
I know with you, you will not take weddings in certain months of the year.
No, I will refuse to work a July Iowa wedding. It's not happening. It is
Is
way
it super
too
hot there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. July. Okay.
Yeah, July and then November to March. I don't work weddings. And like not in Iowa anyway, because November to March, no offense, Iowa, I love you. You're ugly AF. Like,
Okay, we all have our flaws.
ugh.
You also will not take church weddings.
Nope, I don't do church weddings anymore. They're just not my thing. I send them to you.
I love them. Give them to me.
But that's fine because then you always refer the nature weddings over, so it's fine.
Amazing. You said something a minute ago, and I think you mentioned it earlier. What are the box sets that I keep hearing you talk about?
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. So I created a tool for wedding photographers, planners, whoever wants to use them. It is a tool for doing flat lays because I am don't get me wrong. I love the acrylic blocks that are in the luxury world. I think every luxury photographer has them. They are really cool. They're clear. They're amazing. They're not stackable. So I created my own tool that was nesting. So it is one nesting product that I can take with me because since I'm mostly destination, I'm working in random places, my carry-on space is very limited. So it's legit like this big. And I know that if you're listening, you can't see this. So imagine a Canon 50 millimeter lens. It is a nesting box set of 5 boxes and 2 bricks with a lid so it doesn't fall apart. And you can do your flat lays, so you can elevate the invites, you can make them layered. My pet peeve is a flat lay that has no highlights and shadows. I hate flat lays. So I got tired of using my phone or a lens cap or a jewelry box or a random rock.
I use like washi tape rolls and like so many random things because I didn't have the appropriate.
I just got I was frustrated. I came home from a wedding one day and I'm like, I just need, and I'm like looking at my toddler's toy. I'm like, I need that. And so me and my husband, we designed it and now we make it. And yeah, it's 3D printed. So it comes with love out of our little basement workshop.
That's so cool. I had no idea. That's amazing. Well, if you send me the link, I will include that in the show notes. So if anybody wants to snag
you
that.
Totally can.
Sounds amazing.
Like, it's been so cool to watch it blow up. I have to give a shout out to Mike at the vendor table because he got he has shared it so many times. He's like, this is so cool. Nice. And I'm like, Mike, I owe you so much right now. You have helped me get this out there. And I just appreciate more photographers that are like, if they have bigger platforms, that they have helped the tiny little people like me that don't have a huge following. But it's been awesome. And well, I guess technically our following is growing because of our podcast. Yeah. I still think of us as babies. And I'm like, actually, we kind of have a little bit more of a following.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a little tangent about the box sets.
No, I asked you because I wanted to know. Yeah, that's so cool.
I never thought I would be a photographer that would be a product creator because wedding photographers, we don't use props. And then it just sort of happened. And then more people are like, what is that? And I was working with a planner once and she was like, where'd you get that? And I'm like, oh, I made it. She's like, can I have one? I'm like, sure. And it just kind of went poof.
Yeah. Wow. That is so cool. That's very inspiring. I'd love to hear it. Well, in that same kind of vein, I would love to hear a bit more about your podcast. And also, you guys have a mastermind for mom photographers. Is that right? Can you share a little bit about that too?
The podcast has been so much fun. All the conversations that we had, and we would always joke and be like, we should turn our Voxer conversations into a podcast. And then one day I sent you a message and I was like, we're doing it. And we took some branding photos and we had no idea what we were doing. We bought a microphone and a hard launch.
But I've never even been on a podcast before that, I don't think.
I had been on, some smaller ones for fun, but I was like,
we just jumped in.
We just decided to go for it because we knew how, like, other moms were struggling and we were talking to so many moms and we had coached photographers individually in our own businesses. And we're just like, what if we did this together? Like, one, it'd be fun because we're friends. And then what if we just somehow amplified the conversation we were having? Because if we're having these struggles. Like our episode today was about postpartum depression. And I'm like, there has to be more photographer moms that feel like it is impossible to get out of bed right now and take care of their kids and take care of business. And they're feeling like their inbox is overwhelmed and they're thinking that they're the only ones going through this, but you're not. And it was just, we wanted to fill the void, but we wanted to have fun doing it. And like, it's all the conversations that we feel like no one was having with us. So we're like, well, then we'll just do it ourselves.
The ones that we felt like we needed when we needed them.
Yes.
Yeah. And some of our favorite things have been the DMs, like the personal messages and questions.
That's what I live for.
Those are my absolute favorite. Like we literally cry when we read them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like thinking of like the DMs we have gotten, like just thanking us for putting that out there, and like that they were feeling like they were the only ones feeling a certain way, and that like other people just didn't get it because they didn't have, like they were the first in their friend group to have a kid and be a business owner, and they just didn't know who to turn to. That the messages are why we do it. Like being able to actually connect with those photographers is exactly why we do it. And then when we fought up like we didn't even go into it thinking that we were going to put out a mastermind, and we hard launched that too. We were like, we're going to do it because more people were messaging us and asking for help, and we're like, well, we know this advice works, and we know we've tested this, we've done this, we're products of our own creation. And it's just, we were like, let's keep it intimate. Out of every educator that we had invested in together individually, we hated feeling like a number. We hated feeling like we didn't get time to talk to the educator. We hated feeling like embarrassed to ask a certain question, because what if we were supposed to be at a certain level? And that's why we're like, no more than 10 photographers in this, photographer moms, so that they can, one, relate with each other, they can have community with each other, and then two, like we're able to have one-on-ones with them, because we at the end of the day, we just want to solve your problem. We want to help you. We want to be there for you.
Yeah, not only is it us being able to help other moms in their businesses and really give a personalized experience and deep dive into what works for them and what works for their routine at home and with their kids and how that all meshes together, but it also adds that element of community too, where I know a lot of our mastermind students also talk with each other, like outside of like us talking with them. And so it's adding to your village. Like it's giving you more of those moms to relate to. And like Jamie said too, I love the fact that they can ask questions and they're comfortable in our group, where they don't feel bad asking questions, even if
they're judged.
They always, we always say it's a no judgment zone. And so any question about anything at any time. And I really love that like real raw intimacy of it.
Well, and I just like the one-on-one time, because they all have unique situations. Like, yes, we're in the same industry. We all have children, and roughly our children could, like, they're in the same, I don't think anyone in our group has a child older than 8. But anyway, so it's like we're all, we get it. If there's a kid running around on the Zoom, we don't care, and we're not gonna apologize because we get it. But just like being able to do things that other educators wouldn't be able to do. Like the other day, I spent an hour and a half with one of our students inside of her Dubsado, and I set all of the groundwork with her and went over certain things. And she's like, honestly, this would have taken me hours and so much struggle trying to do it by myself. But being able to have access to you helping me do this, it saved me so much time. And she's able to understand it now because someone just walked through with her with it.
That's amazing.
I'm really passionate about helping people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I can tell that you guys are very passionate about it and that you are doing it for the right reasons. And like just hearing you talk about the messages that you're receiving and how touching that is, and just the impact that you guys are making. It's cool that you like saw this gap in the market and you were able to fill that essentially.
Yeah. I think the gap is because we looked and we were like, okay,
there's nothing for mom photographers out there.
We wanted every podcast we listened to, we were like, okay, I mostly like this. Like it's 80% of the way there. But at the same time, it wasn't completely relatable to the season I'm in now. And I'm saying like some people might relate to us for a little bit right now, and then they might outgrow us, and that's totally fine. That's just this, like, that's life. But I felt like I couldn't find what I needed or what I needed back in 2020 when I first became a mom, because the questions of like, I had no idea what to expect becoming pregnant in wedding season, or like I didn't know who to turn to.
Yeah. Well, I will link all of it in the show notes so anyone can go and check that out and learn more about it. And where can my listeners find you online and connect with you guys?
So our Instagram is Cameras and Carseats. We yap a lot on Threads. So Instagram and Threads, I think we are the most active. Our podcast is on all the normal ones, Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
We also have camerasandcarseats.com.
Oh, yes, we have our
website.
website is camerasandcarseats.com, which has all of our links
To the episodes, to the mastermind, and all those.
SEO, yay! But yeah, I was going to say, we're both very active on all of our accounts. So you'll know you're talking to Jamie if it's a lot of cat emojis and exclamation points. And Alex is like the normal, like the side. The face emojis.
Oh, sideways face laugh.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. It was so fun chatting with you. And I just really appreciate you taking the time today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's been fun. We will never shut up. So you got to just like hit stop.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Event Crushed podcast. I hope you found value in this episode, and if you did, please consider sharing it with a wedding industry friend. We also hope you'll consider leaving a rating or review for the show to help other listeners find it. This podcast is edited and produced by Ace Sound Design. If you're looking to elevate your audio experience, their info can be found in the show description. As always, thank you for listening, and please connect with us on Instagram if you haven't already. Now, get out there and crush it.